Man, we got the whole team back together again, Dina. You, me, everybody. It's going to be a good night.
Sure is. Exciting times here in North Carolina. We're going to be really busy. We got basketball state playoffs going on, football season starting up. We're going to be really busy.
Well, yeah, and I've got to say Happy New Year to all my football guys out there because we're embarking on this is New Year's Eve. I mean, it's like Christmas Eve. You know, we got football really happening tomorrow. I can't believe it's really here, you know, after everything we've been through with the whole pandemic, really dating back to last March. And for us to say that football is finally here is pretty cool. So we got the gang in the house. Dina, you may or may not be able to stay with us long. I know you got some basketball coverage tonight, don't you?
Yeah. My dual duty and everything, helping the Tar Heel Illustrated site with some possible post-game coverage by the time. We'll stick around. I'll stick around as long as I can. So.
Well, that's okay. We got a full house here tonight. I mentioned we got the crowd. We got Jack. We got Tally, Chelsea, Brianna. Wow. And we also got a special guest here in the back. And, hey, we're already starting to get some comments coming in. Hey, there's my friend Larry Bass. Larry Bass is a coach at Lakewood High School. He and I share the same birthday, by the way.
Oh.
That's pretty cool. So, Coach, appreciate you getting on there. You see the ticker there across the bottom, guys. Submit your questions via Facebook, via YouTube. We're streaming on both tonight. Should be a pretty big show because just the agenda for tonight, we're going to release our revised spring football power rankings here in just a bit. We got some games of the week to talk about. We got a special guest waiting back there in the green room waiting to come on. But, Dina, we had a pretty big announcement, and really this probably is the main nugget of the show tonight. Governor Cooper got on today and eased the restrictions that's now going to allow up to 35%, I believe, or 35% of the stadium capacity in stadium. So starting Friday, we can have fans in the stands. That's got to be a pretty cool deal.
Woo. I know a lot of people are excited. I mean, especially, they had the 100 people rule basically for the home team. So maybe some visiting parents can go to these things, and just think it's a really positive move heading to the right direction. Of course, we'd love to have 100%, but we're going to take what we get. 100 to whatever it is, but like some of these big stadiums, that there can be a pretty good crowd there.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're already getting some comments coming in there. There you see Brad Pettit. Sir, we appreciate you. Great job. Love what you guys do for high school sports. We also got Steve. He's a regular. Stevie, he's a regular here on the show. and hey, that seems to be the common thread that I've seen on social media this evening is it looks like the governor's finally going in the right direction. Guys, from a student standpoint, I wanted to throw it to you guys. And I guess since Tally, you're on the top right, I'm going to let you go first and we'll just kind of go around the room. How does this change your schooling? I know for my kids here in Forsyth County, we got the message tonight that they're going to start allowing more in-person school with them starting next week. I think up to 4 days a week now. Do you think this can change how you guys are going day to day in the class? And Tally, I'll let you go first.
I definitely do think so. I don't know about A.L. Brown in specific. We're still going 2 days a week, and I decided to go all virtual. I get more work done at home than I do in the classroom. But I do think it's definitely possible going 4 days a week. I know my dad's school is going 4 days a week starting next week. So I think we are headed in the right direction. I just hope that we keep on getting more and more fans into the stadiums.
Jack, what you think?
I think right now I like the rule that they came out with today, but for me, I think 2 days a week is perfect for me. I think right now, I don't know. I feel like 2 days a week is good for right now. And then as we get more people vaccinated, all the teachers vaccinated, then we can go into 4 days a week because I don't really know. Like, I'm not worried about the kids getting it, but like those teachers that are older and they're at risk of COVID, until they get vaccinated, I don't really know going back full time if that would be a good idea for school. But I think the thing about the stadiums, that was great news today, and I'm really excited about that.
Chelsea, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, my school just started allowing kids in cohorts going into school last week. Sanderson doesn't have that many people going in anyways, so I think it won't change much. But as far as stadiums and hopefully going into football games and maybe even some basketball playoff games, I look forward to that.
Yeah, and your stadium's one of the biggest, maybe the second biggest in Wake County, probably a little bit behind Wake Forest. I don't know if Wake County public schools have made any announcements, but I saw where CMS and Charlotte Mecklenburg schools said they're only going to allow, I think, 500, 300 for the home, 200 for the visitors, regardless of the size of the stadium. So I don't know if Wake may do something similar. Those two systems kind of seem to go hand in hand with the similar decisions. So keep us up to date if you hear anything new out of Wake County. And Brianna, I know that they'll probably let as many people as possible in the stadiums there in Lincoln County.
Yeah, we're trying. I know all the parents have been writing the governor and everyone else a lot, so they were really happy that he finally lifted up some of the restrictions. I know East Lincoln High School is allowing their seniors some of first pick tickets, so that's good that the seniors are going to be able to go. My school right now, we're on a schedule of cohort A and cohort B. So cohort A 1 week goes 3 days, and then cohort B goes 2, and then the next week cohort A will go 2, and then cohort B will go 3. So we have people in school 5 days a week, but they're moving towards going 5 days a week from what I hear, because we're trying to get kids in 5 days a week. If you want, you still have the option to stay remote if you want to, but if for those who need 5 days a week or want it, they're trying to move towards the option of 5 days a week right now. But I think our main focus right now is getting more people into the games, considering, we've only got 3 months left of school, and they're trying to give students a lot of the student life they should have. So I believe we're trying to get a lot more people into the stadium as we can. Right. So I'm sure we're going to use that 30% capacity. Yeah, definitely.
Brandy, you mentioned something that's interesting to me, and I want to get your take, and you as well, Tally. You two guys being the seniors within our group here. How do you feel? Obviously, you've seen as freshman and sophomore, and you've kind of seen the seniors before you that had the proms and the football games and everything else like that. And for you guys to be missing out, and my school where my daughters go is that she said they were not even going to get yearbook. So how have you guys felt just in the the lack of that traditional things that you guys would typically go through?
I'd say I've been pretty disappointed. Just in general. I mean, I look forward to being a student section leader and maybe possibly being on homecoming court and all those good things. I've never been to a prom, probably won't be able to. There's just a lot of high school things that I feel like I have missed out on. It does help knowing my friends are in the same boat, but I do miss going to school. I miss the people that I wouldn't hang out with outside of school. So it's been hard, but you just learn and you adjust.
I know your dad pretty well. He may not have let you go to the prom. I don't know. Would he let you out of the house?
Maybe not. Maybe it was a decision regardless.
And what about you, Brianna?
I felt the same way, disappointed, heartbroken, because, luckily, Tally, she hasn't been able to go to prom, but luckily I've been able to go to at least 2, because junior year we didn't have a prom, but I've been able to go freshman and sophomore year. But this year is just, there's something different about senior year that's just so special that you just want to get every moment soaked in. And we are having homecoming and prom as of right now at North Lincoln in April is what we're trying to, in March, and prom in May. So we're aiming towards that. But I did hear that if we don't have prom, it's going to be at home gathering with prom with the amount of people you can have at your house. But it's just sad. It really is. I'm glad that, I had this opportunity to do media and I can go to any game I want to, and I still have that option to go. But not having the student section there, my friends, and taking pictures and making memories, it's hard. It really is.
I still remember my prom back in 1995. Is that Charlotte Motor Speedway?
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. Pretty cool.
That's cool.
Well, hey, we got a guest here that's been waiting patiently here in the back. I wonder if he went to the prom. He went to high school in California and in New Hampshire. So let's bring on Harry Nostrand. Harry, welcome here to the program. For any of you guys that don't know Harry has worked with me over at the Carolina Prep side for years and years, and has has his own radio show in Statesville at WAME and has done a lot of media himself over the years. Harry, how you doing tonight?
Hey, doing good, guys. How's everyone doing tonight?
Good.
Good.
Hopefully enjoying the weather as well as we've had here the last 2 days.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, think about with high school football season right around the corner. It just seems weird talking about nice weather in February to start the high school
really
football
does.
season.
Now, believe it or not, I got a chance to see Harry earlier today, and I got to bring this up. I was supposed to mention this at the beginning. I texted I kind of teased Dina with some photos earlier this afternoon. I got to see Harry for lunch. Went to my other favorite place. My daughter and I went to the Whataburger, the one in Mooresville, by the way, Tally. And then I had to send Dina pictures this evening. She and I also went to have dinner at Tokyo tonight, so we had our Japanese fix for the week. So I'm sitting here on go. Have my two favorite foods of the day.
I think you even got a witch doctor, didn't you, Chris?
I did. I did. Anyway, let's kind of shift gears and talk a little bit about the governor's. We talked about the opening of the schools. How many of you guys, and I guess raise your hand, whoever wants to go first, are planning on attending a game this week? And if so, which one? And Dean, I'm going to start with you because I know that you try not to miss many games. Do you have any plans of going anywhere? I thought you was going to Shelby. Did that game get moved up? I'm not really sure.
I haven't had time to really look. I just found out my local team, the Starmount and Elkin, will be playing Thursday. So hopefully I'll get to go up there locally, and then possibly Shelby Friday, because I'm going to cover Malachi Hamrick is supposed to make his decision around 4:00 before the game that evening at Shelby. So I should be around in that area. So it just depends weather, and I need to check it out and see if Shelby is still playing. And if so, his announcement's still going to be Friday, or if they move it to Thursday, he's going to make it Thursday. So something that I'll have to check out.
Dean, it's funny. We were talking Monday night on the Talking Prep show at the Charlotte Observer Room. I brought up Malachi and his commitment, and Langston made up he had a funny quote, but it's kind of real. He says, man, how many 4-star outside linebackers and just linebackers in general have Shelby had over the years? That seems to be linebacker high.
Well, yeah, they
No
just
kidding.
That whole area, that area in Cleveland County, they have a lot of talent. And a lot of that talent has went outside of the state. And you guys had Matt Brown on Talking Preps the other day, and he's trying to put a fence around the state. And if they don't go to UNC, he would like for them to go to state.
Absolutely.
Wake Forest, Duke, East Carolina, and Appalachian. He wants the whole state to start locking down North Carolina, because the talent here has increased tremendously over the years.
Yeah, and I had that same conversation with him prior that, and he said he don't care if they go to state. He just wants them to stay home. And that's absolutely the best thing for our state. Tally, are you going to ever go see your game Friday or Thursday? I guess it's tomorrow.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask, is that new order that came out today, is that not in effect till Friday?
Yeah, it's not in effect till Friday, but you do have your credential, and you should be able to get in. I would imagine you'd probably be pretty good either way.
Yeah. I do plan on going to that. I wasn't sure, as far as all my friends and everything, who could go and who couldn't. But I do plan on either going and filming with the media crew or using my credentials and sitting in the stands.
Sweet. What about you, Jack?
So my life right now is still oriented around basketball. I'm not switching gears to football until basketball season is over. So Friday, I'm just going to stay in Richlands, go to the Richland. Trask plays at Richlands, and then Friday, I'm going all the way out to Charlotte to watch Carmel Christian and Cannon play for the state championship.
Sweet.
And then, and then the following week we have public school playoffs, and then after that, I'll fully switch into football mode.
Well, since you don't want to talk football, Jack, we're just going to send you to the back room.
Well, Chris, do you know? we got a lot of kids that are multi-sport. Are these multi-sport kids, are they allowed to play football?
So that's the thing. Like Breon Pass has a playoff game Thursday night, and then he has a football game Friday night. So I don't know what they're gonna do about stuff like that.
That play those sports, and I'm just wondering. Of course, if they got beat out in the state playoff, that if I just had a question about that. Have some of them been practicing both sports, or because you got you mentioned Breon Pass, Bryson Nesbitt is a dual athlete that sells in both sports. So Jalen Walker. So
I mean,
a lot of kids, and I was just wondering how that's going to happen.
Jamarian Dolan at North Davidson has he's had a crazy year for basketball at North Davidson. He's going to ECU to play football. So I don't know if they're practicing football and basketball, but he could have a state playoff for basketball tomorrow night, play his first football game of the season Friday night, and then play another basketball game on Saturday. I don't know if he's going to do that, but that could be possible. That would be crazy if he won all three of those games and played all three of those games. That would be pretty crazy.
Didn't we have a volleyball player that played volleyball?
Ashanti Lynch.
Yeah.
I guess
it's possible.
Yeah, she played five. She played 3 volleyball state playoff games in a week and scored 50 points in both basketball games that week too.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, this lady here, Jack, you may know who she is. She says it's up to each school and how they handling it. I talked to head football coach over at Hickory, Russell Stone, because they've got obviously they've got a big game. I think they play Mount Tabor. Is it tomorrow night?
Mount Tabor plays Friday. Mount Tabor. Somebody in the comments said Mount Tabor at Reagan.
Well, that is the football game. But basketball, Hickory and Mount Tabor, I think play. I think they play tomorrow night. And Russell Stone was telling me that he has guys that he's expecting to suit up for football on Friday.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool.
Jeff Banner, I see your comment there. Is Mount Tabor and Reagan playing Friday? I have not seen where that game's been moved up. So as of right now, I'm still thinking that game is on Friday, and we'll discuss that here in a few moments. Harry, are you? I know you're busy with the radio show and everything, but are you planning on hitting a game this week?
I am planning on it. What game is still up in the air? I wish I could go to a Thursday night game, but obviously with the show can't do that. Mooresville and North Mecklenburg will not be playing in week 1. So that went out the window. So yeah, I just got to figure out where I'm going to end up. I mean, you know me, if I can find a good game in the Charlotte area, I'm probably going to find my way to it. So,
well, I think that Vance versus Mallard Creek is probably the biggest game in the state. So I would probably take my camera gear. I know you've got all that stuff situated. I'd probably be trying to hit that game up. That's just me if I was telling you what to do. Before we get any further, you broke a big story this week as well. Scott Miller over at South Iredale stepped down. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your conversation you had with him and what you think that school may do moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, there's been people that are talking about Coach Miller and how much longer he'd be at South. And Coach Miller, went out of his way to, I guess, kind of do it on his own and let people know that this was going to be the last season, and by that I mean the spring season. He felt his time had come to step down at South for no particular reason, just other than the fact he wants to take some time. He said he's got 2 older sons that he didn't see a whole lot of unless there was at football practice. He's got a younger son now. He wanted to take some time and unwind and slow down a little bit. I mean, we're talking about a guy who was military, police before he was a football coach. And he told me he'd been go for years. working third shift as a police officer in Charlotte, and then sleeping a couple hours, and then going to football practice after that. So, he felt it was time to call it quits essentially, and focus on his family, himself, and taking care of himself essentially. And one thing he told me that kind of stood out is just he's not been one of those guys that's ever had a weekend off, so he's actually kind of looking forward to that. So it'll be interesting because South, he's absolutely built South into a contender over there in Troutman. I mean, they won the
won a state championship a few years back.
Exactly, yeah, 2012 over Carborough. In his 10 years there, I mean, he's won 95 games. So, you think about it, that's a pretty good stretch right there. Considering the 10 years leading up to that, South had only won about 37 games. So he's done a good job there. And whoever fills his shoes, and that's going to be a big question. Do they promote from within, or do they take an outsider? I'm sure those questions are going to start to be answered here soon. But there's a couple qualified guys on staff that they can absolutely look at. And it'll be interesting to see what they do. I don't have an inkling yet what they'll do, and Chris, you probably know better than I do. But that'll be an interesting job to see who goes after that. I think there'll be some top candidates going for it.
Sure. Well, man, I appreciate that and being on top of that and breaking that story for us. That was some good stuff. Hey, hang tight here. We want to bring you back on here in just a few moments and get your thoughts on our top 20 rankings when we release them here in a few.
You got it.
All right, man. That's Harry Nostrand. He'll be back with us. Chelsea, I wanted to go back to you before we get to Jack's interview. Are you are you planning on hitting up a game this weekend up there in the Raleigh area?
Yeah, I haven't seen what's around yet, but I saw you posted that Gibbons and Leesville game, and seeing that Gibbons is highly ranked, that's definitely one I'd love to see if I can fit it within my practicing schedule. So I'm not sure about this week, but in the season, I'll definitely take my media pass and go to some.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk about some of these top games, and there's actually a couple of really good games in your area that we'll go over here momentarily. And Brianna, are you going to be at a game Friday? I'm sure you are. Or is it Thursday? Do you know if you guys have moved your schedule up yet? Uh-oh. I think she might. Uh-oh. Sorry about that. Call back. We're having all kinds of gremlins here on the show tonight. Jack, let's go ahead and get to your interview you had. Tell everybody who you spoke with, and we'll go ahead and play that and talk about their season here momentarily.
So I talked to the head coach at Southwest Onslow, which is a school like 15 minutes from me, actually the rival of the high school that I go to, Richlands. Their head coach, Coach Dempsey, has been there for I'm not exactly sure, but maybe like 4 or 5 seasons. He played there. He went to East Carolina to play college football, came back to Southwest, and was there after Coach Pageant left. So I got to talk to him a little bit about how this season has been going for them, what they're looking forward to, and kind of how they handled the situation.
Well, cool. Well, let's go ahead and play that video, and we'll come back and talk some more football after this is over.
We're here with Charlie Dempsey, the head football coach at Southwest, as they prepare for their first football game this season. Coach Dempsey, as we get to play football season this year, what are some goals and expectations y'all have for this season?
Well, I think right now is just we're taking it day by day. I think most coaches out there is going to agree with me that this is definitely a unique situation and a new situation. I'm extremely glad that we get to play football, but when you don't have a spring and a summer and you're trying to cram all those things into 2 weeks just to get prepared for a first game and get the fundamentals down and things like that. So really for me this spring with a shortened season, like we're keeping it simple. We want to really hammer home the fundamentals and the small things, the little things, and we're still a young team. We got some experience, but we also got some sophomores that are playing, so we're kind of in between right there. So just a matter of getting some experience under our belt and getting these guys ready.
Yeah, and Southwest is always known for their strength on the lines. Talk about how that's been with this shortened season, the weight room and just being able to get your team strong?
Well, that's been extremely hard because it's hard to get strong when you only lift 2 days a week. I felt good about the time that we are here when we have been lifting our kids. Every one of our kids have had weightlifting class, and I'm their teacher. So we've been having some great workouts during those times, and I can tell we've had some kids that are able to find the weight room outside of here, and we stress that trying to work out outside of here to really grow. But our numbers aren't as good as they have been in the past, but I'm pleased. We've had growth, so I mean that's good. Not as much as we normally have, but so we feel really good about considering the circumstances. Our growth in the weight room.
Yeah, talk about some of your top players on the team. I know you got Isaac Moore at quarterback, Sessoms at running back. Talk about some of your top players and how they're fitting into the system this season.
Yeah, so those are our experienced guys. Isaac Moore, returning quarterback from last year. We're looking for him to have a little bit more of a role in the offense. And then Tyreek Sessoms, he's a senior running back. Really, I say running back. That kid's played everywhere on the field. I mean, receiver, slot. We had him to play fullback last year. He probably even play left guard if I needed him to. But yeah, he's just a great kid, real smart. And then we have D'Angelo Hill, is 6'5", 350-pound monster, man. He's improved from last year. That was one thing that me and him talked about in the offseason was, he's got the body to be a college football player, but we've got to get his skills and get him a little bit better moving his feet and the fundamentals. And I've seen him improve so far, and so expecting big things from him up front to lead the way.
Yeah. Talk about your first game of the year, how you're preparing for them, and what you're looking forward to.
Well, I tell you what, it's nerve-wracking, man, going to that first game with you don't feel real prepared. I tell you what, I do feel much better today than I did 2 days ago, and I think that's how it is probably for every coach. I think every day that we have a great practice, that we can have a practice outside, that's been another issue with weather and basketball going on. So last week was a little hectic between weather and some kids going to basketball games and basketball practice and this and that. So this week we feel like we've had a solid week of practice with the entire team there, being able to be outside and put some things together. And so just looking forward for Dixon is, like I said, we're just keeping it simple, and we're just trying to line up and play fundamental disciplined football right off the bat.
Yeah. And last question, with the Southwest community is one of the biggest part of this football program and this whole high school. Yeah. With there only being a limited capacity, what are some ways that you guys are going to try to keep the energy up and just have that same Southwest energy out on the football field?
Yeah, that's hard, man, because it is. You're right. Our fans in the community are such a big part of everything we do, but it's just beyond that. We have a great tradition here, and I tell the kids all the time, and we have those boards in the weight room that shows all the things that we've accomplished here at this school. That is a constant reminder, and I tell them all the time, with great tradition comes great responsibility. So it is now their turn, it's their time to carry on that tradition. It's been handed over to them. So we really stress that and put the burden on them. I take the kids take pride in that, and they don't want to let the tradition down, and that's really what we push. And even if the fans aren't being there, they're going to be following us, and we tell the kids that they're going to be keeping up with you, going to be asking about you, maybe watching on TV, and hopefully, we might get some good news soon, from the governor that we will get some fans in there, and they're going to, they're not want to come see us if we ain't, putting a good product on the field.
Yeah. So, thank you so much, Coach, and good luck for the rest of the season.
I appreciate it, Jack.
All right, great job, Jack. Hey, Dean, as much as I keep trying to push us to talk football, it sounds like some of these guys still want to talk some hoops, so it feels like we need to kind of backtrack a little bit on our rankings announcement here and let these guys talk some basketball.
Well, I mean, it's kind of turnabouts, fire play. Back when it was regular, it used to be football, went into basketball season, and a lot of your better football players were, if they played basketball coaches had to wait on them. So we'll just turn it over to Chelsea and Jack and Brianna and Tally if they have any more basketball news.
Yes.
Well, Chelsea, you brought up a real good tidbit in our private chat as we were watching Jack's interview, and I'd really like you to expand more on that because what you told me is really cool and a huge accomplishment, and just like to learn a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so the McDonald's All-American All-Star Players is just a huge gang of players, and they have so many nominations, and only so many are chosen. And unfortunately, there were none for boys basketball in North Carolina, but women's basketball in the East, specifically North Carolina, had 3 ladies nominated and fully go through. Tiani Key, who's a UNC commit, Sanaya Rivers, who's a South Carolina commit, and then Reagan Richardson, who's a Georgia commit. And so just to have like 3 in that one state of North Carolina, I think is really huge. Just a huge accomplishment for those girls.
No kidding. I mean, that's incredible, and I'm really glad that you made the point to let us know that, because that's what we're here to do, is really spread the word of all the athletes in our state and student athletes. So really cool. Jack, somebody has a bone of contention to pick with you here. So let's bring you here to the screen. A couple weeks ago, you didn't even have a clue that Hickory was even a contender in basketball, and Jacob Milligan says, "Hey, they got a chance to make the state, sir."
I mean, they have Weddington and Central Cabarrus are pretty much going to run West 3A. So, I mean, they may beat Mount Tabor in tomorrow, but I don't see them getting past Weddington or Central Cabarrus. Weddington right now looks really, really good. I think their weakness right now, they haven't really played anybody that well. But I mean, that's going to be a problem for a lot of the. Oh, thanks. That's going to be a problem for a lot of these public teams like Millbrook. They haven't played anybody, so I mean, they have a Louisville commit, 2 other D1 players, but they haven't really had a real test against a good team. So I think the teams. Right now, I was just watching the Burlington School versus Wayne Country Day game, and Burlington has prepared themselves for the playoffs. They played really every single good private team in the state, and they're flying to the state championship. So I think building a strong schedule in the regular season may pay off for some of the good teams, and they may be able to make a tournament run. I'm trying to think of yeah, Saturday. I was gonna say the Saturday games are state championships. For 1A, it's Victory Christian versus United Faith. 2A, it's Burlington just beat Wayne Country Day, and then Northwood Temple, who just beat Westminster Catawba. 3A, it is Gaston Christian and Asheville Christian, and then 4A, the best game out of all of them, Carmel Christian and Cannon School. So it's gonna be a fun Saturday. Also, some great third-round matchups for public schools Saturday. I mean, we may have Millbrook Apex Friendship, Kinston. I think that'd be Kinston Farmville. So there would be a lot of great games that Saturday. So it's sad that basketball is almost over, but we're getting right into the best part of it. The end is always the best.
You're right. And Brianna, how was your basketball season, by the way? How did you do?
Well, we had our senior night against Bandies, and we ended up losing, but it was fun because it was a fun night, and it's whatever. Our record really wasn't best, but it was definitely like the team bonding was more this year than it's probably have ever been in the past 4 years that I've been there. So it was really good for that. Our boys varsity is actually playing North Davidson tomorrow, so I do plan on attending that game for 2A. I know when you mentioned North Davidson, I was like, oh Lord. They have
a kid that's averaging like 35 points per game.
I know, so I'm hoping that our players pull through. Cole Seek had 35 against Bush Tuesday, and Jack Carter had 21 out of 77. So Bush was a good game. Kind of scared me at first. We were down 1 point each quarter in the first half, and then we picked it up and just really stretched the lead. So I'm hoping the same with North Davidson. And I know our varsity football team is tomorrow night too. So hopefully if basketball ends early, I'll just walk over to the football game because it's right there.
Cool. And one final basketball question. Tally, how many points did you score this year? I saw your name in the paper when you guys played Concord, I think it was.
I looked up the other day. I think it was 74, like averaging around 6.5 points per game. So
it's a lot better than me.
Cool. That's pretty cool. Dina,
Hey.
did you average about 20 a game when you was in school?
No, I was probably around a double, 11 points, 10 rebounds.
Paint monster.
Oh yeah.
Dominating.
You don't go play college ball for being a scrub. I mean, obviously, you never saw me play any ball.
I probably led the team in assists too. So
Hey, I gotta bring
past the rock.
I gotta bring Harry on. Harry, and I even have a picture of this somewhere. Harry scored 22 in a game one time, didn't you?
Absolutely. Wow. Against Newport High School.
I've got a picture. I took a picture of a newspaper article off of Harry's wall, and they called him Sturdy Harry.
Sturdy Harry.
Well, Harry,
I had a 20-point, 20 rebound game at North Stokes one night.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
Couldn't stop.
Cool.
Career high was 24. State playoffs up at Lenore Ryan against Bunker Hill.
Gotcha. I will say, the team that I play at, our JV team, won our last game of the season in overtime to split for the conference championship, and I scored the first 2 points of the game. So started the game off right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tally, Brianna, can y'all see the comment? Can either of you dunk?
Unfortunately not. I actually had a teacher tell me he would pay my college tuition if I dunked on senior night, but I couldn't figure it out. So.
Absolutely not. I surprisingly made a 3 on my senior night just by chance, so no dunking for me.
Yeah. I struggle making left-hand layups. I can't dunk. Sorry.
Yeah.
Cool.
Me too, Jack.
Get one of those little tyke hoops. It'll happen.
Hey, believe it or not, I have dunked before. I even have a picture of it somewhere of me dunking a basketball. So I'll have to bring that out one day. It was kind of one of those barely like wrist right at the edge of the rim kind of deals, but I count it. It was probably a forceful layup, but still, it was pretty cool.
Was there a trampoline under the hoop?
No, absolutely not.
Was it 8 foot tall rim?
No, it was 10 foot. I mean, I am not the most unathletic person you'll ever meet. I mean, believe it or not, I wasn't terrible back in the day.
I saw where you challenged Griner to another tennis match the other day.
My tennis plan has been getting pretty good, and we played a pretty good little set there. It was not a runaway. I mean, he's obviously the more superior athlete compared to me, but for my age, I'm actually in pretty good shape, and I'm not afraid to say that. So, but I would expect a guy still in his mid-30s to beat a guy in his mid-40s. So, what do you expect? Well, anyway, guys, we've teased this long enough. It's time to talk about these preseason rankings. We had to redo them because we had so many different players who opted out to go. Yeah, that's probably the right word, to go play high school ball. I want to see if I can change our setting around to where it shows. I don't want that one. Try to find a way to get us all on the screen, but also do the rankings. But which way do you guys want to start? Do we want to go 4A, 1A, or 1A to 4A? Dean, I'll let you make
1A to 4A.
Start.
Yeah, start little.
Start 3A, 2A, 4A, 1A.
Okay.
All right. 3A, 2A. Okay. Well, here we go. Here is our 3A rankings. I want to see if I can get this set up around it, and it don't look like I can.
That's okay.
Definitely don't want that. So anyway, that Charlotte Catholic coming in number 1, Weddington 2, Havelock, Mount Tabor, Crest, Tally. There's your A.O. Brown Wonders coming in at 6. Kings Mountain at 7. Kings Mountain's one of those teams that they played in the spring or in the fall, Dean. I think might have been 1 or 2.
Yeah.
They're still down there at 7. Cleveland, Greenville Rose, New Hanover in the top 10. The bottom half of the top 10, Eastern Alamance, Western Alamance. Both of them teams are going to be really good. Greensboro Dudley, AC Reynolds. Another team out of your conference there, Tally, Cox Mill, got a phenomenal quarterback. I expect big things out of them. Lee County, Rocky Mount, Southern Nash. Rocky Mountain Southern or Lee County and Southern Ash, by the way, you know, they were runners up in the state championship games. Alexander Central and Clayton. I think Clayton's kind of going to come on and have a big year. Any surprises on these? Any comments? Anybody want to make any comments about this?
No, I was going to say that. Oh, go ahead.
No, you can go.
No, I was going to say Cox Mill. You said the phenomenal quarterback. I heard that he opted out for the.
I hope not.
Yeah, I heard he decommitted and committed to Citadel, but I did hear that he wasn't going to play in the spring. So
well, hey, even I can make mistakes. So hey, they're still going to be a pretty good team. I'm not worried too much about that. New coach though, turf field though. I love that turf field. Hey, let's go on down now to the 2A. Shelby, Reedsville, Burns, Northeastern, High Brighton, Salisbury. You know, they were the 2AA runner-ups. Eastern Randolph, North Lincoln. You're North Lincoln, by the way, Brianna. Oh, wait, you're not there. You're North Lincoln. Brevard, Clinton, Oak Grove, North Davidson, Newton Conover, Wallace Rose Hill, Whiteville, Randleman, Hartford County, East Duplin, Mountain Heritage, and Southwest Edgecombe. Thoughts? Anybody?
I'd be keeping a close eye on Salisbury. Go ahead.
I was gonna say East Dublin's about 10 minutes from me, and it seems like every single time they lose like their top 5 players, they bring in 7 more. So I think 18 is a perfect place for them. So Coach Battle is always gonna keep that team as a contender for 2A. So hopefully I'll be able to go to some of their games.
Harry, you had a question or you had a comment?
Well, not so much a question, but yeah, I mean, I'd keep a close eye on that Salisbury team at number 6 there. I mean, they made a really impressive playoff run last year. You know, obviously lost in the state final, but that's a team that could very easily be back making a deep playoff run to the state championship game.
No, I totally agree with you right there on Salisbury. Let's now go to the 4A. Vance, Richmond, Cardinal Gibbons, Huff, Mallard Creek, Grimsley, Newbern, Wake Forest, Reagan, Hickory Ridge, East Forsyth, your 4A defending state champions. They lost a ton of talent. Butler, West Forsyth, Rollsville, Glen, Heritage, Myers Park, Scotland, Ardrikell, Leesville Road. Comments, questions?
IMEC, wow.
So good.
Wow, IMEC has 3 of those with Vance, Mallard Creek, and Huff.
And here's the thing, Dina. Only 2 of them can make the playoffs.
I know. Yeah, and we start off the year with a bang with probably the top matchup in the state, Mallard Creek against defending champ Vance.
Yes,
so,
and if you were to go to our extended rankings, both Mooresville and Lake Norman would be in the top 25, top 30. So, I mean, that conference, it just shows how strong both those schools are in that league.
Yeah,
and, you know, you talk about the opt-outs. Richmond County is going to be good, but how much better would they be if they had Caleb Hood? His little brother, Kellen's going to be the quarterback for them. But, you know, they've got some kids that, I mean, they had like 4 or 5 kids go get major scholarships. They had a lot of guys coming back off that great team they had last year. So
yes,
Coach Teal will have them ready. They got that Raider magic working down there.
Agreed. And finally, let's do the 1A. You got East Surrey, Tarboro, Holmes, Murphy, Robbinsville, Mountain Heritage, Swain County, North Stanley, North Rowan, Thomas Jefferson, Mitchell, Rosewood, Elkin, Winston-Salem Prep, Mount Airy, Northampton County. Just announced yesterday that Northampton's actually going to have a season now. I was not sure if they were even going to be able to play, but it looks like they'll be playing now. Manteo, North Edgecombe, Princeton, Gates County. It gets hard sometimes ranking those 1A because sometimes you got the numbers are what they are, and there's not as many of them in this current realignment. You got to really do your homework to put together a 1A ranking. But I think, you know, I think it's a pretty good season we're still going to have. It looks like we do have a question. Do y'all think the coaching change will affect Mallard Creek much? Jacob, I don't at all. I think, if anything, I think Mallard Creek's going to get better. Coach Kennedy Tinsley, we had him on Monday on Talking Preps, has brought in an incredible coaching staff, some guys that came with him from Southeast Guilford, where, by the way, he was really good, took them to a state championship game, and also has brought in some other coaches and retained some really coaches as well, really good coaches. So I think Mallard Creek is not going to miss a beat. I like some of the culture changes that Kennedy Tinsley brings with him, and I think that he's going to be taken over for a guy that was really well organized and prepared. And, love him or hate him, Mike Palmieri put a great program together, and just did a tremendous job. And obviously the success speaks for itself at Mallard Creek. So I think they'll be fine. Jacob, any comments? Any surprises? Any comments from you guys?
The preseason is always hard to. A lot of it's going on what teams did in the previous year, and then with all the opt-outs, and some kids transferred to South Carolina and played, or went to the private school ranks. So you did a good job redoing and everything, and so I think we'll have a better idea maybe 3 or 4 weeks into, and it's hard to say, and that's the halfway point. 7 games this year. So
I think we'll have a pretty good idea after tomorrow and Friday with some of these games, because we're about to go over some of the games of the week for week 1. And there's some really ambitious scheduling, and, the way the conference schedules are pretty much the entire schedule now. We've got some heavy matchups to really play here this opening week that I think is going to be really telling in regards to some of these really good teams. Here we go. Let's press the button. Top games for week 1. Let's go to the first 10 that we're going to talk about tonight. There you see. I need to. Well, we're going to press this button. I got to press that button. There we go. Vance and Mallard Creek, I think that's the top game in the state. It's going to be a huge game. There is a very, very good chance, guys, that the team that does not win this game doesn't make the playoffs. And you're talking about your defending state champion and Mallard Creek, who's won 3 of the last 6, I think, state championships at the Big 4A level. That's a huge deal. So I think that's going to be hairy. If there's a game you're going to try to go see, that would be the one. There you see Havelock at Northeastern. You really got to appreciate both of those schools, elite 2A, 3A level schools, being that aggressive with their scheduling and being willing to play. That's going to be a heck of a ball game up there in Northeastern North Carolina, Elizabeth City. Chelsea, there's a good game in your neck of the woods. Cardinal Gibbons at Leesville. Mount Tabor at Reagan. Both of those are top 10 teams in their respective classifications. Jack, it looks like we lost you there. Greensboro Dudley at Page, a big rivalry game. Not to mention Page with their new coach, Doug Robertson, who's had huge success at Eastern Guilford, at Thomasville, at Reedsville, won state championships at Reedsville. East Forsyth at Glenn, and East. Dina, you want to talk about the 2 schools who lost the most? Those 2 schools right there may have lost more talent than any other school in the state of North Carolina.
Battle of Kernersville, East Forsyth, Coach Willard, great year last year, and they lost a lot of players. And then Coach Stevenson at Glenn, he had 2 4-star defensive freaks on the side of the ball, and Javari Ritzy and Ra Dilworth, and they're in Chapel Hill right now. So that's one issue of the playing this spring, is a lot of these kids had to make a difficult decision, a personal decision, whether they needed to go on and get into the college regiment and or stay. There were some kids that decided to stay and wanted to finish out with the teammates, but it really put a hardship on some of these kids, because a lot of them kids wanted to go out and their senior year and play football with their buddies one more time, and just it. They just had to make a decision, and it was hard on every one of them, I believe. And so, but Glenn, they have some talent there back, so it's going to be an interesting game there at in Turnersville this
Yes.
Friday.
Glenn may have lost a lot of that defensive talent, but they got a lot back on offense. I think they're still going to be a really good team, and it's why they're firmly in our top 20 rankings. Just finishing up, East Surrey at North Davidson. That's a really intriguing matchup. I like that one. Hoggard at New Hanover, a huge rivalry game down there in New Hanover County. Grimsley may have one of the best rosters in the triad. They're going down to play Cox Mill. I like that matchup. Newbern at Greenville Rose, that's already kind of a rivalry game. So you got to like that. Let's just look at some of the other top games. Cleveland at Southview. Tuscola at Pisgah is where I'm planning to go. I still may be up there, not really sure. Northern Durham at Southern Durham. Independence at Hickory Ridge. Hickory Ridge came in at a 10th place in our preseason rankings. I think that they've got a chance to win the Southwestern 4A. Oak Grove at West Forsyth. Those are two top 10 or top 11 or 12 ranked teams going head to head. Oak Grove, I think, in time is going to be a 4A school. So, this could be a big time matchup down the road. Garner is still, I don't think they're the Garner of old, but they're at Wake Forest. Chelsea, that would be a good game for you to consider. Burns at South Point. Charlotte Catholic at Monroe. Clinton, this is a game that I kind of circled, Dina. Clinton going all the way to Anson County. That's two really strong 2A programs. Anson was one of those teams, and looks like we're losing some guys. If you got to check out guys, I understand. But Anson had that 7-3 season and couldn't make the playoffs because of that brawl at Richmond. But that's a pretty big game. And then obviously, Tally, you got your Wonders hosting A.L. Brown. Any comments, any thoughts about these games, guys?
Now, that Northwest Cabarrus and A.L. Brown game, you go back last year, last year. Yeah, it feels like it was last year. That was a pretty big game, and Northwest kind of took some people by surprise in that conference. So it'd be interesting to see how that one plays out. That ought to be a good football game.
Yeah, Northwest has a new coach in Eric Mormon. They lost a lot of that staff and a ton of players with graduation and West Cabarrus opening. So I don't see Northwest being quite what they were, but they're still going to be a quality program. I think I'd pick the Wonders pretty handily if I had to make a pick. Statesville going up the mountain to Mitchell. I really like that. I think that's going to be a tough task for Statesville with some of the talent they lost. 71st, Jack Britt. West Rowan going to Salisbury. First time in a long time they've played. Mountain Heritage at Brevard's always a really good football game. Here's another game that I'm really excited. Mountain Island Charter is going up to play East Lincoln. I think Mountain Island Charter is on that precipice of possibly becoming one of the top one or two or three 1A schools. And Dean, if they can go up there and beat East, I think that could be a pretty good statement for Coach Washington and that Mountain Island Charter team.
Yeah, they got some talent there, and so I think that was a late minute addition because I think East Lincoln possibly had a cancellation and had to move and get somebody, and luckily they found a team right there down the road from them. So and down there at Mount Holly. So be a good one to watch. Mountain Island Charter had a great run last year and gave East Surrey a run for their money in that playoff game up at Pilot Mountain last year.
Yep. Maiden at Bandy's, that's always a big game in Catawba County. Lee County going up to South Granville. I really like that opening week matchup. Southern Nash at Wakefield. Wakefield's going to be a pretty good team, Chelsea. I keep an eye out for them. Topsail at Laney. East Duplin at Princeton. And just kind of wrapping up things, Hertford County at Gates. Manio at Currituck, that's a good game. Newton Conover going up to Lincolnton. We had Newton Conover's Coach Steve Pack on there. I think that's a really dangerous team to look out for. They played a really good scrimmage against Hickory last week, and I know that I think Hickory's defense is going to be pretty good, but that was a pretty good little task. North Stanley at West Stanley, North Surrey at Walkertown. I think Walkertown's a team you need to keep an eye out for in the 2A ranks. Reedsville at Thomasville. Back to the old-time football, Dina, Reedsville at Thomasville would probably draw 15,000 people.
That would probably be a state semifinal or third-round football game in most years.
No kidding. Carson at my South Rowan Raiders. Hope South has a good showing in that game. It's going to be on Saturday now. 750 fans being admitted. First come, first serve is what the website said. Franklin at nearby Hayesville. South Stokes at Trinity. I put that game there because I've got to go back. With our team pages being down, I'm not 100% sure on my calculations. But Dave Diamond's either 1 or 2 wins away from 300. So, that's something to keep an eye out for Coach Diamond hitting that 300. He's most certainly going to hit that this year at South Stokes. And finally, I mentioned another IMAC team, Lake Norman at West Charlotte. I think Lake Norman's going to be a pretty good team. And West Charlotte with Sam Griner, I think it's only a matter of time before they're a good team. So that's kind of where I'm at, guys, for our games of the week. Any comments? Anything you want to add before we call it the night, guys?
Chris, you were talking about the Tuscola-Pisgah game that you might end up at. How weird is it going to be to not have that game just jam-packed? I mean, that's part of the sell on high school football, especially games like that is, the crowd and the atmosphere is just something else.
Yeah, Harry, Paul Graham and I have been to that game several times where, and even John Teal, who works with us, we had to get there 4 or 5 hours ahead of time just to even get a parking space. And now with only 100, or even if, they with the changes now, the 35%, that's a stadium that holds about 6,000-7,000 people. So, it's still not going to be anywhere near what it could be. But it's still, if they allow 35% into that stadium at Pisgah, it's still going to be a pretty hopping environment.
For sure, yeah.
Looks like there we go. Are you going to buy a split the pot ticket at Pisgah? Stevie, I'd have a better chance of winning it this year compared to any other year. For the record, last time John Teal, my partner that works with us and helps us cover football, he and I split. I think we put $300 in that pot one year. I think I still owe him for my half if we want to get down to it. And I see y'all later. Great work, Coach. Thank you, Coach. Well, that's it. Chelsea, Brianna, it seems like I've done all the talking. Tally, anything you ladies want to say?
No, but I look forward to going to some games soon.
I'm so excited to actually be in an environment with people watching football. I missed it a lot.
Yeah, no kidding. And Chelsea, I would keep an eye on your own Sanderson football team as well. I think they got a chance to be pretty decent. I think Heritage is going to be a surprise team in the county. I think they'll be back. Obviously, we know that Rolesville and Wake Forest and Leesville and Gibbons is really good. I think Gibbons is probably the best team in the county. But I think there's some up and coming teams, and I wouldn't forget about Holly Springs, and I wouldn't forget about Green Hope. And I think it's also going to be really interesting to see Green Level. They play their first varsity game Friday night. I think that's a team that could be on the up and up as well. So. And Garner, I'd like to see what kind of statement Garner makes against Wake Forest Friday night. So you got some really good teams to look out for up there in Wake County. Tally, any final thoughts for you there in K-Town tonight?
No, just excited to go. I'll be there tomorrow.
I notice you have not been flashing your cherry lemon sun drops at me today like you were last time. You were making me mad. That's okay. I took my daughter. We got our fix of it today. Harry, I appreciate you coming on and talking some football with us. You're one of the more talented and knowledgeable guys in that, Mooresville, Charlotte, Mecklenburg County area, Cabarrus County. You've done a great job for years, and we just appreciate you coming on here and talking ball with us tonight.
No, I appreciate the opportunity, Chris. Like you said, it's kind of like Christmas Eve to us. It seems weird that it's in February, but We'll have our own little version of high school March Madness. If you're able, get out and watch a football game. If not, stream it any way you can. But support the athletes. Get it. This is a big year for them. So get out there and support them if you can.
And Harry, I always say the same thing. I even with a media pass, I can get into a lot of ball games, but I always try to go buy a Coke or a Sun Drop or a bag of chips or something. I always try to do my part to help these programs because they need it and they need your money now more than ever. Even with increased revenue, it's not going to pay some of the bills that these schools are late on, and officials' bills and paying security and everybody else. So guys, if we can get in, pack the stadiums as much as they'll let you, because these schools, I promise you, they need the money. And Dina, I always try to give you the last word because you're the boss lady around here. And any final thoughts of wisdom from you tonight?
Well, it's like I've interviewed a lot of kids, and it's been almost 15 months since we saw high school football games in the public league. So I'm ready. I'll go watch games as if the weather's right and everything. So as one kid said, it's go time.
Absolutely. For Jack, he's already out, but obviously for Chelsea, we appreciate you and Tally and Brianna and everything you guys bring to us here at NCPreps. Harry, thank you for coming on, and all the people that have supported us over the years. I'm going to play this theme music on the way out, but go out and enjoy Friday night football or Thursday night football or whatever it is. But y'all have a good night.
You too.